Hey guys, this is CE3, recording during my lunch break. We are evaluating a decision that was shared with me through Shiny, and the situation is we've reached by level 9 and we want to evaluate whether or not we should keep the grinder. So just know we don't have complete information, but we'll do our best. This is just to give you an idea of what it feels to think from at least my perspective. So anytime you evaluate a decision, you need to make sure that you know what your goal is. Don't lose sight of your goal. So the goal should always be maximize the number of points you earn when you attack enemy players. The secondary goal is to level as many quality mercs as possible. This means if you can afford to swap the grinder, you should do it because leveling a younger, higher bi-level merc is better because its ceiling is much higher. And so basically, knowing these goals the way I play, I'm trying to find every excuse possible to pivot into a higher bi-level merc because I know it'll grow faster. So knowing that, I'm basically trying to justify to myself, like, how do I replace the grinder with something better? And the first thing to ask yourself is, what can you pivot to? So I think because you've already built a triangle, you have the Arbalist and the Cavalier, you want to build a defensive merc because the triangle already exists. The best candidate is probably a swordsman. It's not good to build a rogue because there are a lot of knifemen and they'll just kill your rogue. So I think a swordsman is really good because there are some whipmen like just roaming around. So then you'll have a really good front line. So we've kind of filtered the decision to the question, should I build a swordsman over the grinder, right? And then there are a bunch of factors that you can use to evaluate your decision. So number one, let's just look at your lineup and pretend your grinder doesn't exist, right? So pretend it doesn't exist and ask yourself, are there players that you can attack safely with the 3 other mercs? If the answer is yes, then that means that it's okay for your grinder to not exist, and then it's okay to build something else because that thing is going to be better than the grinder eventually, right? And then the second factor is, do you have an alliance battle left? If so, you can use the alliance battle to level up baby mercs. So if this is an option, you can hire the swordsman immediately, let it level up in the AB, and this is very viable if your teammates are strong and can carry your baby mercs. This is something you can also communicate with your team, so any good alliance will work with you on this. And the other thing is, ask yourself, do you have any pits left, and how about archery range shots? So if you can do an alliance battle and archery range shots, your Arbalist might hit level 6, and you can get new arrows, because it's like, right now it's almost level 5. So it's very possible that I can hit 6, and if that happens, it's further justifies pivoting to a swordsman. And that's about it for the information in this video. It's kind of hard to completely evaluate the decision, because we don't know who you attacked and whether you did your AB or not, but hopefully this gives you some idea of how I evaluate key decisions. Basically, if any of the reasoning above makes sense, like if you can find an excuse to pivot to a swordsman, I highly recommend pivoting because it's going to grow a lot faster. And if none of it makes sense and it's not reasonable, then you can stay. The other thing about evaluating your decisions is knowing the cost of not making that decision, and honestly the cost of staying isn't that bad, so if you stay, that's also okay. So that's basically it for the video. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future where I just answer specific questions, but a lot of thinking goes into this one decision, and I think HD is cool because you're faced with hundreds of these decisions in a season, and to think about this is interesting. Alright, hope this helps.